Hello! Today I want to do a different video. I want to show you how I actually learn languages by myself, how is my study method, and how a normal day of studying a language, in this case German, is to me and how I did. The reason why is because I'm preparing to present a certificate exam in German, which is called the Telc C1 Hochschule. I have to enhance all my abilities, so that's why I made since July a type of a plan or a calendar in which each day I put like all the abilities I have to study or to practice, and I check the ones that I did, and I also note the ones that I didn't do because it is important to me like to have a track on what have I studied, because it is really easy to disorganize and not have like a clear plan, and that's what make us to not progress at all. And so in this video I wanted to show you how I practice each ability and how I prepare for an exam, how I study a language by myself. A little disclaimer here is that German, I didn't learn it through classes. Instead, I started learning German by myself. However, for preparing for this exam, as is something that cost, I decided that I wanted to have some classes so I can receive feedback from a real professor about my abilities. However, I did learn German from A1 to B1 all by myself alone. I've already presented a German certificate exam, which is the test of. In this one, I got C1 in Hören, which is listening, and in the other abilities, B2. So despite that this exam helped me to get admitted to some German universities, I wanted to take the Telc C1. So as you can see, in this calendar or plan that I made, I have 6 sections. One is from grammar and vocabulary, and other one is Wiederholung, which is like a little review you do or a recap. And also I have the 4 abilities, which are sprechen, schreiben, hören und lesen. And I will show you how I study for each of them, or I prepare myself. Today I had a class and I could write a text in German and receive feedback from it. And what I do for the Schreiben ability specifically is that I try to write every day, even if it is a little text. I try to write it by hand. However, the last few days I have been writing in my computer, as the exam is made also in a computer in a text center. Okay, so what I like to do first is starting by lesson, which is reading. And I like to do this because I start with something fresh, learning vocabulary, reading an interesting topic that I like. So I am going to show you the research I use and that I also explained in my other video in how to learn German from A1 to C1. And here I will show you how I read in my tablet, and what I do most of the time is that I download the articles of Alltag Deutsch, which is a resource from Deutsche Welle. And what I liked about it and why I do practice with this resource is that it has both the exercises and also the manuscript, so I can read and also respond to questions. And what I like about these exercises is that they both evaluate your comprehension, your reading comprehension, and your grammar. So as you can see, what I like to do when reading is taking keywords, Schlüsselwörter, and with these keywords I try to find the important ideas of the text in order to resolve the exercises, and I also like to do glossary of the vocabulary that I don't know. Now I want to show you how I learn grammar, and it is a very important thing because in the past I used to learn grammar with AI, which is not so advisable. In my opinion, it is not the most efficient way to learn grammar. Instead, I think that books are better to learn grammar, and that's why I always recommend the books of Grammatik Active from A1 bis B1, which is A1 to B1, and from B2 bis C1, which is B2 to C1. And currently, I am using both. First, because I think that it's important to have really clear the basics to then advance with more complex topics. So, a week that I studied with the Grammatic A1 to B1 level was last week. So, as you can see, here I put all the topics that I felt that I had a little bit of that I have less knowledge or that I had to refresh, and therefore I started to study them, and I could do or study 3 or even 4 to 5 topics in a day, but it is because I already saw these topics. However, if you are going to start learning grammar, it is really important that you don't only understand the concept but practice it through exercises, because it's really easy that you a day understand the topic and the other day you forget about it, and it is horrible. I've been there. So, for example, between last week and this week, I studied Satzstellung, Dorfbildung, adjective, and a little bit of verb conjugation. So I refreshed because today I will study passive and conjunctive SY, which is really important for an academic writing. So that's what I'm going to do. I will continue with grammar from A1 to B1 a little bit, and then I will sprint to the other book because I think that both books are really good, and it is like my second time studying with these books as well. Now that I have already done lesson, which is reading, and also I have studied a little bit of grammar and did schreiben activität, which is a writing activity this morning, I will continue then with a listening exercise. And when I have to prepare for these exams, I force myself to do a model test of Hören. But if I weren't practicing for this exam, the easiest way to train your ears is by consuming content in German. Therefore, what I recommend is to see a lot of videos in YouTube, and also maybe series if you like. Please start listening to podcasts. In the last video that I did, I give you various web pages, websites in which you can enhance your listening skills, specifically with das Videothema from Deutsche Welle, which is a website to watch videos, but also by practicing with them. Therefore, what I am going to do now is doing a model test of the listening part of Telc C1, which has 3 parts. So I will show you how I make that and my tips to enhance your listening.
Einfach günstig. Es gibt doch immer ein Pro und ein Contra. Naja, inzwischen hat meine Tochter ihr Studium abgeschlossen. Aber auszuziehen von zu Hause, das kam für sie erst in Frage, als sie ihre erste Stelle angetreten hatte.
Okay, so I have just finished the listening part, and I got a pretty good result, which was 23 from 28 points. So I'm going to show you how I actually made it. So I think that my best tip is to highlight keywords, and I like to actually make notes because it makes me like more active and being more focused during the audio. But I understand that someone can lose track when taking notes, and it has passed to me sometimes, but I prefer to make them. In the first part, it was weird because I didn't get so many points as I wanted. It was just 6 from 8, and it is supposed that it is the easiest part. But instead, in the second and third part, I got 8 from 10 and 9 from 10. So that really helped me to get a really good result. So that's what my tips are. And what I do also is that I download the books and I try to hear the audios from YouTube channels that I already have the audios, because I am a bit lazy to reproduce and find the audios in a file. And yeah, I think that's like my strongest ability. Now I am going to go on with Sprachen, which is talking, and in the text I am just starting to know more about this part, and I've already done an exercise today about the first part, which is that you give a presentation, but you have to hear the presentation of your partner too, and like answer their questions and also formulating questions to their topic. I really recommend you that when you are going to talk about something in German, please organize at first your ideas so you have like a better image on what you want to express, and also try to do a structure of your presentation. So for example, the Einleitung, which would be the introduction, and also which is going to be your main point or your thesis, and also do like an argument and an example. The thing with this exercise is that you can only speak 3 minutes, and that's like the hardest challenge for me because I have to talk super fast and I don't like to talk super fast in German. For example, today the topic was die Bedeutung sozialer Medien für die Karrierenentwicklung Jugendwissenschaftler und Wissenschaftlerinnen. So it means like the significance or the importance of social media in the careers of the younger scientists. So my thesis was that scientists are really relevant to ensure like the social progress in our society. So they compound a big part of our lives, and therefore it is important that they get to know in the internet, because in the internet there's a lot of fake news, like false information and misconceptions about scientific topics. I also did an example explaining how psychologists, for example, had a big role in the quarantine during the pandemic, and through the science and also a professional advice, they could help millions of teenagers in the isolation of the quarantine. So that's what I make. Like I try to write all of my thesis, arguments, and example, and then I expose myself. Sometimes I just feel or record myself speaking and then try to get feedback, but it is hard. So I do use sometimes artificial intelligence as ChatGPT, so it can correct me or make me the questions that I have to make in the exam. And I think that is great if you could talk with AI or record yourself, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, like, because it will help you enhance your speaking abilities and also make you more comfortable to express yourself. So that's all, and I really hope that you found this video useful. Please let me know in the comments which other type of videos or aspects of my life would you like me to share. If you like this video, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. And if you know someone that is learning a language like German or is preparing for a certificate exam, I know that this type of videos can help them too. I am really grateful to you to make to the end of this video, and we see you the next time. Bis bald!